All right, welcome to In Season Nevada. This is part three. This is what we do with the breast meat. So in the back there, we got all the stewed meat, but up front and center, we've got this amazing summer sausage. That is a 2.5 pound summer sausage that we're going to be making. First off, we're going to be making a little bit of brine for the snow goose that we got. So that's just a couple tablespoons of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, a cup of water, some dill, and some ground black pepper. Now, I forgot to show the smoking of the pastrami meat. So we'll do that in another episode, more in depth. But essentially, you're just going to toss that in some spices after it brines for a day or two, and you can smoke it with your summer sausage, and it's going to come up to the same temp. You want to smoke it all the way up to about 165 degrees. So I'm just putting it in a container there just to give it some shape, and so it doesn't leak in my fridge. So there you go. All right, let's get into the summer sausage. I have another video on how to make summer sausage. I did it with Jackrabbit, but here you go. Just a little bit of a different version here. I'm showing you me weighing out all the meat here. We end up with about 7 pounds of goose meat, and we use about 5 pounds of ground beef. So we have to do this in two phases here in order to measure it out. I get 6 pounds, 2 ounces in my first weigh, and then I have one breast I couldn't fit on top. That was another 14 ounces. And so it leaves me with 17 total pounds of goose breast meat, and then 5 pounds of ground beef. So gives us 12 pounds total, 2.5 pounds per sausage. We get four sausages and a couple pounds of leftover meat. So we have about 6 pounds of geese and beef meat lined up here, and I am putting in 5 scoops of my pre-blended summer sausage mix. It's actually perfectly a 10 to 9 ratio, so 10 pounds of meat to 9 scoops of my seasoning blend. And that seasoning blend is right here. This is for 5 pounds of meat. I just multiply it by 10 and I keep it in a jar. That way I don't have to pre-measure this out every time I want to make sausage. So it's just something that you can do for convenience, is to have it pre-mixed for you. But about 5 tablespoons to 6 pounds is also fine too. But yeah, 9 tablespoons to 10 pounds is technically a perfect blend for this. I put all 6 pounds in the food processor at once for the first round here. Don't do this. Do 3 pounds at a time and just do 4 rounds. So you could just do 2.5 tablespoons to 3 pounds, and that'll be, again, good enough of a ratio. This seasoning blend isn't perfect. You can add cure to this if you want it to be a little bit more refrigeration stable. I freeze mine personally, so I don't really have to worry too much about spoilage here. I vacuum seal them before I freeze them, but essentially you can store them however you want to, depending on how fast you're going to eat them. You can refrigerate them for up to about a week, I'd say. I'm not going to film myself stuffing these sausages. I've already filmed that on my Jackrabbit summer sausage video. So if you want just a more like a cleaner presentation on how to make summer sausage, that's definitely a better video. I'm processing a whole lot of meat today. As you can tell, I'm processing 12 pounds of meat. Plus, I'm doing all of that stewed meat that you saw in the previous 2 parts. So we're going to kind of keep this as quick as we can. This is a clip from the Jackrabbit processing video. These are 1.25, so 1.25 pound sausages. The goose sausages I'm making are 2.5 pounds, so they're double this size. But it's essentially the same process. You put them on the smoker and you smoke them to 165 degrees. Same process with the pastrami. The only difference is you're not stuffing it into a sausage casing. You're putting some seasoning on the outside of it. You're smoking it in the smoker till 165 degrees. Here's the final process on that goose sausage here. Yummy.